Hello friends, once again welcome you in our new video lecture. This is Mr. Vipul Sansare. Today we are going to see a new topic related to the physical pharmaceutics, that is surface active agents. So we will see what is meant by surface active agents, then which are the different types of surface active agents, then examples of a surface active agents, and some uses of the surface active agents or significance of a surface active agents in a pharmaceutical formulations. So first of all, these surfactants are also known as surface active agents. So these surfactants are basically amphiphilic compounds, means which have affinity to both polar as well as non-polar type of solvents. So the amphiphilic compounds, why these surfactants are amphiphilic compounds? Because these surfactants have both types of groups, that is hydrophilic group as well as hydrophobic groups in their structure. So because of presence of these two different types of groups in a single structure, the surfactants are amphiphilic compounds, means which have affinity to both polar as well as non-polar solvents. So we will see where these hydrophilic and hydrophobic groups are present in the surfactant structure. So the surfactant basically contains the polar or hydrophilic head group, means this polar or hydrophilic head group is responsible for hydrophilicity of a surfactant. Then non-polar hydrophobic tail. The non-polar hydrophobic tail is responsible for lipophilicity or hydrophobicity of the surfactant. Now because of this presence of two different types of groups, the surfactant is amphiphilic in nature. And why such a type of compound is known as a surface active agents? Because these compounds are very much active on the surface as well as interface, and they have ability to reduce the surface as well as interfacial tension, and this property of a surfactant is utilized in various pharmaceutical formulation for a stabilization of various systems. Next, the classification. So how these surfactants are classified? Surfactants are basically classified in different ways based on their chemical nature, based on their origin. So most accepted and scientifically sound classification method of the surfactant is their ability to dissociate in water. So based on the dissociation of surfactant in water, the surfactants are classified into three different types. So first is the cationic surfactant, second is anionic surfactant, and third is non-ionic type of surfactant. So cationic surfactant, we will see what is meant by cationic surfactant. These surfactants are dissociates in water, means if you add the surfactant in water, what will happen? The surfactant will dissociate into two different types of ions or maybe different types of compounds. Now dissociation of the cationic surfactant results in a formation of amphiphilic cation, means the amphiphilic compound bears the positive charge and other counter anion. So the dissociation of the cationic surfactant results in formation of both cations as well as anions, but the surface active power is retained with positive charge ion, that is cation. That's why such type of surfactants are known as cationic surfactant. Now which are the popular example? The class of surfactant like quaternary ammonium compounds. So the quaternary ammonium compound type of surfactant, basically these are the cationic surfactant because of positive charge retained on the nitrogen of the quaternary ammonium compounds. Then fatty amine salts, this is the second class of compounds which are the cationic surfactant, which means the cation or positive charge ion have surface active power. So this is the structure of cationic surfactant. You can see in the structure the positive charge is basically retained on the surfactant structure or amphiphilic structure. This positive charge on nitrogen. That's why I told the nitrogen bears the positive charge, and the positive charge is with the amphiphilic compound and basically this compound show the surface active power. That's why these are the cationic surfactant. And negative charge counter ion separate out, that is chloride ion, negative charge ion. Means the dissociation of such type of surfactant gives both cations as well as anions, but the surface active power is retained with the cation. That's why such type of surfactants are known as cationic surfactant. Next, anionic surfactant. Now this anionic surfactant are also dissociates into water and results in a formation of both cations as well as anions. But the negative charge ion, that is anion, retains the surface active power, retains the ability to reduce the surface tension. So these surfactants are known as anionic surfactant. So dissociation results in a formation of both cations as well as anions. So which are the primarily cations basically form after dissociation of such anionic surfactant, like a sodium ion, potassium ion, or a quaternary ammonium ion. These are the positive charge ions are basically formed, and negative charge ion retains the surface active power. So which are the examples? The alkyl benzene sulfonates, which are generally used as a detergent, then fatty acid soap, then lauryl sulfate, for example sodium lauryl sulfate, right, which is used as a foaming agent, which is generally used in various cosmetics like shampoo product. Then dialkyl sulfosuccinate, which is used as a wetting agent. Then lignosulfonate, which is dispersant, which helps in a dispersion, formation of a stable dispersion in case of suspension and emulsion. So just see the structure of this such a anionic type of surfactant. So here the negative charge ion retain the surface active property. So the oxygen, here you can see the negative charge is retained on oxygen, whereas positive charge ion separate out, that is sodium ion. This sodium ion don't have surface active property, but this negative charge ion containing group retains the surface active property, means ability to reduce the surface tension. That's why such surfactants are known as anionic surfactant. So this is the representative structure of linear alkyl sulfate, that is anionic surfactant. Now here you can see where the polar head and non-polar tail is exist in a surfactant structure. The non-polar tail is basically hydrocarbon chain, the carbon and hydrogen chain, which is your non-polar tail, right? And the polar head group is responsible for aqueous solubility, which have affinity towards the polar solvent like water. Next, the non-ionic surfactant. These surfactant do not ionize in aqueous solution, means these surfactant do not dissociate in aqueous solution, because their hydrophilic group is non-dissociable type, means their hydrophilic group exists in a surfactant is a non-dissociable type of hydrophilic group, such as alcohol, phenol, ester, amides and ether. So because of such a non-dissociable hydrophilic group, such surfactants are non-ionic surfactant, means which do not ionize or dissociate in aqueous solvent. Now examples, the sorbitan ester. Sorbitan ester, where we have studied the ester group, which is non-hydrolyzable or non-dissociable group, right? So the sorbitan ester, which is commercially known as SPAN, the brand name is SPAN. Now what is this sorbitan ester? These are the esters of sorbitol and mono and dihydride with oleic acid, means these are the esters of sorbitol, that is alcohol, sugar alcohol, and the carboxylic acid, that is fatty acid, oleic acid. So when the alcohol combine with carboxylic acid results in a formation of ester. So here sorbitol acts as alcohol and oleic acid, that is your carboxylic acid. So the SPAN are the esters of sorbitol and fatty acid. That's why these are the sorbitan ester. Next, Other example, that is twins. So twins is again a brand name of polysorbate, which is again non-ionic surfactant. So polysorbates are mixture of esters of sorbitol and its mono and dianhydrides condensed with an approximate number of moles of ethylene oxide. So most important thing. So these polysorbates are the esters of again sorbitol and fatty acid, like your span. But in addition to sorbitol and fatty acid, the polymer like ethylene oxide, the polymer chain ethylene oxide is attached to the surfactant structure, that is to the sorbitol carbon atom. So that's why these are known as polysorbates or commercially known as twins. So what is the difference between span and twin? The difference is the span, in span structure the ethylene oxide chain is absent, but in twin structure the ethylene oxide chain is present.
So here you can see the structure of span as well as twin. The span is a sorbiton ester of sorbitol and fatty acid ester. So sorbitol is basically hydroxyl group containing alcohol. So it is a sugar alcohol containing total 6 carbons. So 5 carbons in a ring and one CH2OH group. So this hydroxyl group of sorbitol is esterified with carboxylic acid group of fatty acid to form the span structure. Now this sorbitol group is responsible for hydrophilicity to the surfactant. So this is a hydrophilic part of the surfactant. You can see it is a polar head, and long fatty acid chain acts as a non-polar tail. So this hydrophilic group or polar head group orient towards the water, because water is also polar. So like dissolve like, simple concept we have to apply here. So if you add the span in water, what will happen? The hydrophilic group, that is sorbitol group, orient towards the water, and non-polar tail, that is hydrocarbon tail, orients away from the water. Similarly, in case of twin, the structure is similar to the span, except the polyoxyethylene chain is attached to this orbital structure. So polyoxyethylene chain confers the more hydrophilicity to the surfactant. So twin is more hydrophilic than span because of polyoxyethylene chain attached to this orbital structure. So this is the general structure of span as well as twin. Next, the minor type, that is polymeric surfactant. These are basically polymers. So polymeric surfactant, basically these are the polymeric surfactant consist of long chain of monomer units. So popular example is poloxamer. So poloxamer is a copolymer which is made up of two different types of monomer, that is oxyethylene and oxypropylene. So this oxyethylene contributes the hydrophilicity to the poloxamer, and oxypropylene contributes the hydrophobicity or non-polarity to the poloxamer. So it is made up of two different types of monomer, oxyethylene and oxypropylene. Now the surfactant basically consists of two different parts, one is polar, one is non-polar. So which are the polar groups? The polar group, that is polar head, contains the heteroatoms like oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen, and functional groups like alcohol, thiol, ester, ether, then acid, then sulfate, sulfonate, phosphate, amines, amides. These are the various types of functional groups which contributes the polarity to the surfactant. So as we discussed earlier, that is span structure, here you can see the hydroxyl group is there in polar head. So these groups are basically contributes for the hydrophilicity to the surfactant. Then non-polar groups, the non-polar group generally consist of long hydrocarbon chains. That's why the non-polar tails, which is similar to the chain, hydrocarbon chain in the surfactant structure. Now, because of presence of these two different types of groups, polar as well as non-polar group in the structure, the surfactant is amphiphilic in nature. So this is a typical structure of a surfactant, which is a non-ionic surfactant. sodium dodecyl sulfate. Here you can see the hydrocarbon chain is basically lipophilic portion or hydrophobic tail of a surfactant, and the sulfur and oxygen both heteroatoms containing group, which is your hydrophilic group or polar head of a surfactant. The oxygen atom bears a negative charge which have the surface active power. That's why this surfactant is anionic surfactant, and counter ion separate out, that is sodium ion. So the sodium dodecyl sulfate dissociates in water to produce sodium ion, that is positive charge ion, as a counter ion which don't have surface active power, and negative charge ion have the surface active power. That's why this surfactant is anionic surfactant or negative charge surfactant. Now, where these surfactants are important? These surfactants are important in stabilization of dispersed system. Surfactants can act as a weighting agent. Then surfactant also helps in solubilization of poorly water soluble drugs. All these significance, all these uses of surfactants are based on the adsorption of a surfactant at the interface, at the solid liquid interface, at the liquid liquid interface, at the air liquid interface. So adsorption of a surfactant in such a way that the polar group orient towards the polar surface and non-polar group orient towards the non-polar surface. So here you can see, suppose if I add the surfactant in biphasic system made up of oil and water. So of course oil form the top layer because of density of oil is less than water, and water form a bottom layer. Now if I add the surfactant in this biphasic system, what will happen? The polar head of a surfactant orient towards the water and non-polar tail of a surfactant orient towards the oil, that is non-polar solvent. So because of such an arrangement of a surfactant, the surfactants are used as a stabilizers in various pharmaceutical formulations. So this is a typical example of O by W type of emulsions, where oil is dispersed in water in the form of fine globules. For stabilization of such a system, the surfactants are used as a stabilizer because of tendency of such a biphasic system to phase separate out. This is thermodynamically unstable system. So for better stabilization of such a thermodynamically unstable system, the surfactants are used as a stabilizer. So as I told earlier, the surfactant form a thin film around the interface, around the oil-water interface, in such a way that the polar head orient towards the water, that is dispersion medium, and non-polar tail orient towards the oil globules, and the formation of a thin film or adsorption layer around each oil globules. And due to the formation of such a adsorption layer around the oil globules, the surfactant prevents the coalescence of oil globules and prevents the cracking and creaming of emulsion. So this is important application of a surfactant as a stabilizer in biphasic dispersed system like a suspension, emulsion, and novel nanoparticle based system like various types of nanoparticles, polymeric nanoparticles, solid lipid nanoparticles, then nanostructured lipid carriers. In all such dispersed system, the surfactant is used as a stabilizer for better stabilization of a dispersed system. Next, the surfactant also used in solubilization of a drug. Those drugs which are poorly water soluble can be solubilized by addition of a surfactant because of important property of a surfactant, that is formation of a micelles. Now what is micelles? Micelles is basically three-dimensional arrangement of a surfactant in water in such a way that the polar head orients towards the water and non-polar tails orients away from the water, results in a formation of three-dimensional structure which is known as micelles. Now most important point here, surfactant only form the micelles if you add the surfactant above its critical micellar concentration. So the critical micellar concentration is a concentration of surfactant above which the surfactant form a micelle. So surfactant contains for both polar as well as non-polar group. If you add the surfactant in water above its critical micellar concentration, what will happen? The surfactant will form three-dimensional structure. And the three-dimensional structure in such a way that the polar head orients towards the water and non-polar tail orients away from the water. Results in a formation of non-polar core because of non-polar tail. And this core of a mycelium, which is non-polar in nature, acts as an environment for its solubilization or dissolution of poorly water soluble drug. So this micellar system can be utilized to solubilize the poorly water soluble drugs. Thus, it is possible to improve the bioavailability of such a poorly water soluble drug by using micellar system. In addition to this, the surfactant also helpful for the formation of the drug carrier like niosomes. The niosomes are bilayer vesicle of non-ionic surfactant. The difference in the micelle and the niosome, the micelle is the monolayer of a surfactant, whereas the niosomes are bilayer of a surfactant. These are the three-dimensional structure where the arrangement of a surfactant in bilayer, two different layers of surfactant arranged in such a way that again polar head orients towards the water and non-polar tail orients away from the water. And because of presence of both properties, that is polarity as well as non-polarity, the both type of drug you can load in such a vesicular system. The core, in core you can load the hydrophilic drug, and in the center you can load the lipophilic drugs. Here in the core you can load the hydrophilic drug because of polar head group, and in the bilayer you can load the lipophilic drug because of presence of non-polar tail. So these are some different applications of a surfactant. In addition to this, surfactant also used as a weighting agent for better weighting of poorly weightable drugs in case of suspension. So these are some important applications of surfactant. Thank you.